Carpetbagger here, coming to you live from the South, more specifically Maggie Valley, North Carolina. And even more specifically than that, you have Ghost Town in the Sky. This is an abandoned amusement park here in Maggie Valley. And let me give you the quick history first before we take a look. And so this place was founded in 1961. It was a Wild West park, you know, where they have gunfights and can-can shows. It was really popular, drew people to this small valley town of Maggie Valley until 2002. Of course, by then, cowboys weren't as in vogue, and there was a disaster at the park where the ski lift, which actually the ski lift takes you to the top of the park. If you look up there, it's actually the amusement park is right up there on the top. That ski lift takes you up there. The ski lift broke down, leaving people stranded up in the air for 2 hours in the rain. Shortly after that, I think it was just a few days after that, the park closed for I think 5 years. The park would then reopen. They would invest $11 million in trying to renovate the park. Of course, it had been abandoned for 5 years. People had snuck in there, vandalized things, stolen things. They put $11 million into getting it up and running. And that was 2007, I believe. It did not last very long after that point. A lot of the rides were not functional. They put $6 million into getting this roller coaster, the Cliffhanger, running. And that $6 million that they invest in that roller coaster ended up being functional for 2 days. 2 days was all that roller coaster was able to run for. $6 million. So the park, once again, filed for bankruptcy, shut down, was purchased by a local businesswoman, Alaska Presley. And she would reopen the park. Unfortunately, the problems wouldn't just fix themselves. It turns out that they would continue to have problems with attendance, problems getting rides open. And then in 2013, they had a particularly frightening encounter when during a gunfight, a fighter by the name of the Apache Kid, who was one of the more famous gunfighters in the park, he would actually get shot with a legit bullet or something in the leg. They use real guns loaded with blanks. So he gets shot. He's bleeding in the streets. The guests go to get water to help him. It turns out there's no water in the park. The water had been shut off. So he gets hauled off to the local hospital. He's told that by the management that he needs to take a drug screen, which he refuses and is therefore fired. He would later go on to make accusations that the park management was trying to murder him by preloading the gun with a real bullet and causing him to be shot, like Brandon Lee in The Crow. So, you know, the park continues to have problems. They had a mudslide that happened that the park had to be held accountable for. So just disaster after disaster after disaster. And just given the fact that a Wild West theme park doesn't have the same appeal that it once did. So, in 2016, they make plans to reopen the park. You can see back there that billboard. Let's take a peek at that. Ghost Town Village. They were going to have a re-theming effort. Instead of being an amusement park, they were going to have free admission. They were going to have shops, dining, and they're still going to have gunfights, but it was going to have a moonshine theme, which, if you think about it, is actually much more appropriate for the area, because a Wild West theme in the middle of North Carolina is a little odd. So the moonshine theme could have been cool. I thought it was a good idea. They kept pushing back the date on when it would open. They say, oh, we're going to open, but give us a couple more weeks. We got to get everything in order. They actually had to build a path underneath the ski lift to meet regulations in case the ski lift broke down. So they keep pushing back the date. And then finally, they release that they will not be opening, and they immediately put the park for sale, which is currently where it is. And so Ghost Town Village was never open to the public. The public never got a peek until today, because we are going to take a look up at Ghost Town Village. Now, this property is off limits, so I can't walk up there. Who in their right mind would want to walk up there anyways? We're going to check it out from the sky. We're going to launch Possum 1 and take a look at Ghost Town Village. Ground control to Possum 1. We have liftoff. As you can see, it actually does say Ghost Town Village. They went as far as changing the sign, but never went as far as actually opening Ghost Town Village. So we go over the top here. You can see to the right is the old funicular railroad that used to take you to the top. Over there on the left, they had the zip lines. Let's take a look up here at the old ski lift. You can see that path that's actually carved in the ground. That was a safety regulation that the state of North Carolina said they had to have, but never put to use. Yeah, let's just take a quick look over at Maggie Valley. This is the town that Ghost Town is in. Beautiful little mountain community. Oh, and look at that big old empty parking lot. I bet at one time that was just filled with happy tourists. Alright, so now we are on the up on the first level of Ghost Town. As you can see the roller coaster over there that was formerly known as the Red Devil. I think it was the Cliffhanger is what they called it when they reopened. And again, they put $6 million into getting this roller coaster operational for a total of 2 days of roller coaster fun. And they actually heard stories of weighted buckets in the carts to keep them from coming off the track. All right, down here, that far building is the Ghost Town Museum. I think that's, and over there to the right, the long buildings are an old shooting gallery. I tried to get down there to take a closer look, but the drone signal was wearing out. Okay, you can kind of see up there on the hill where there's the old Wild West town. You can see the path where the trolley took it. Alright, now we're on the other side of the mountain. This is where a lot of the rides were. You can see the drop tower there, the ride. There's a little spinny thing next to it. And then they used to do Indian dances in those buildings there at the bottom. That was the original plan, was to turn that into some sort of Holy Land. They're going to erect the world's largest cross right there. I don't think that plan came to fruition. Alright, and here we are, Ghost Town proper, the Wild West town up here at the very tip top of the mountain. Now we're going to try to get the drone down in here as low as possible to kind of get a look. There's the Stagecoach Inn restaurant where the can-can dancing took place. See, the problem here is once you get the drone down in between the two rows of buildings, it kind of cuts the signal off, but we're going to get the best look we can possibly get down. And let's see here. Okay, there's a little view of the Main Street Ghost Town. See how the little buildings where the cowboys would get there in the middle to have their shootouts, bank robberies and whatnot. We'll cruise down here. The Emporium. Don't know, these buildings aren't labeled. And then we have the general store with a fake burnt facade. The cowboys would actually take dives off the top of that. That was actually a pretty cool part of the gunfights there. Okay, back on top here. It's the Red Dog Saloon there on the left. They do have some bluegrass music usually in there. I don't think they ever served alcohol at Ghost Town. Alright, let's see if we can get low. There's the Longhorn Hotel. This is kind of where you can see those porches, those wooded areas, those where people would line up to watch the gunfights. And then there was the bank there. There's that brick building on the end where the burglars would come out. Alright, let's see where we're going to go. Oh, we're going to cruise down Ghost Town, Main Street. There's that 1-2-storied building. There's the Red Dog. Oh, and there's the church that actually have Sunday service there. You can see the Boot Hill Cemetery there over to the right of the church as well. Alright. Go to the center of town here. Take a look around. There's some shops back there. I think the old Undertaker shop is somewhere back in that area.
And I got this old dead tree. And then, yeah, it's a fire truck there. I don't know what that has to do with anything. And one thing I'm noticing is this supposedly they were going to retheme this to be a mountain themed moonshine town, but it still looks like a Wild West town. I cannot see one change that they've made. There's the old railroad station. You can see the old train. I don't think they ever got that train operational. Yep. All right. Yeah, we'll lift up here. You can kind of see just how high this theme park really was. That's the highway down there. Pretty incredible, actually. Pretty breathtaking view from up here on top. Take a quick cruise back through. Alright, you can see that little tiny kid roller coaster. I've actually ridden that. And that circle would be where the carousel used to be. It looks like that's been completely removed. I wonder where these rides ended up at. Alright, there again is the area where they were going to build the world's largest cross. They're actually going to use pieces from the roller coaster to make that.
Okay, appreciate you joining me and Possum One on our journey up and over the mountain into Ghost Town Village. Appreciate you guys watching.